Good evening, good evening, good evening.
Good evening to you too. How are you getting on today?
I'm all right, yep.
Good.
Doing well.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Tartan Tunes, your non-stop show of excitement and thrill every Sunday night.
Why is it when you say excitement, I think of Reverend I Am Jolly?
Oh, well, it's kind of like that, yeah. There we go. Right, listen, folks, wonderful to have you back on. If you're there, hello, Derek Owen. I wonder where he is today. Bahamas? Who knows? There's Kenny McKenzie. Hi, Kenneth. We have a great guest for you tonight, folks. Just before we start, our guest that we did advertise earlier in the week, you might have been a wee bit mixed up. Lorne Cousins, the piper, was going on. Unfortunately, somebody close to him passed away, and he's going to reschedule for another time. So we'll get Lorne back on another time. And just when I'm on that, there was a chap, I would just like to say, I was thinking of all his family, George Mackay. George quite often watched the show, and he was my mum and dad's best man, and unfortunately he passed away yesterday as well. So just all these names we've got to know, and people we know over the internet. So that's that. But here we go. So we have a fantastic young guest for you tonight, a man called Duncan Ritchie. Now, Duncan has been fantastic, stepping in right at the last minute as well, actually, because I just texted him.
By last minute, we're talking Friday.
Yeah, but that's quite a lot when we have to put the shows together, isn't it?
Yes, that's.
But the thing was, this lad is going places in the music world because he's been incredibly professional and excellently prepared for what we were asking for. It all arrived, boom, like that.
Peter, answer this question. Why is Duncan on the show tonight?
What?
Why is he on the show tonight? Why was his name? His name?
Exactly. Now, as you will have noticed through the week, and Davey sent me the link, and we did this last year as well, actually.
We did this last year, and it worked.
Yes, we're trying to get on. It's the BBC Young Traditional Musician of the Year.
What year?
Nearly. 2022.
2023.
Why?
Because the finals next year.
Ah, okay. All right,
Semi-finalists.
That's a bit complicated, that, isn't it?
Yep.
Right.
So just so we can, before we get the semi-finalists this year are Duncan Ritchie.
Yep.
Beth Malcolm.
Yep.
Who was on the show the same night as I was as a guest.
Oh, is that right? Oh.
John Dew, who's been on the show.
Yeah.
Amy Lawrenson.
On the show. We're pretty well in front of yourselves here, aren't we?
Makes a change. We have Peter McPherson, Madeline Stewart, Kenneth McFarlane.
Kenneth's got back to me as well already, and he's wanting to come on.
Good. Sam Mabbitt. Aidan Moody, who's been on the show.
Yeah, even though I forgot he had been on the show.
I know, that's funny.
When I spoke to him at Orkney Folk Festival and said, "Oh, Aidan, we'll have to get you on the show." And he said, "I was on a fortnight ago." Oops.
Mary McGilvery, Seamus O'Bagley, and a friend of yours, Ailish Sutherland.
Yeah, I know. I even wrote a tune for Ailish.
You did? It's in book 1?
Yeah, I think so. So it's really cool.
So yeah,
anyway,
so that is your semi-finalists this year.
Great. So we're going to try and get as many of the semi-finalists on as possible and let you hear these guys. And then when it comes to voting, you're going to find it a wee bit easier.
Yeah, because you've heard of them. Now,
is there any vote? Oh, there's maybe not voting for this one.
No, it's not voting. It's the semi-finals. Then they're done. There's experts judge them at the semi-finals, and then they get your finalists. Your final 6.
That'll be the experts that don't get their videos and things in time to us.
Lorne McDougall used to be one of the experts. He used to be on quite a lot.
He was right. We'll let Lorne off.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, listen, before we do that, here's a wee set of tunes just to get your feet tapping. This is
before we do that.
Yeah.
A little plug from Peter. So, Peter, what are you doing the next week?
I'm coming down on Friday, down south to see my mum. Then, staying down and meeting the band on the Saturday, the 15th of October. The boys are coming down from Shetland. We've got a wee mini tour. But on the Saturday morning, we are going into the BBC studios in Beech Grove to do a Take the Floor recording. And then Saturday night, we're playing at the Caledonian Golf Club, 7:30 to midnight. So if you're in Aberdeen, that's the Aberdeen gig. And it's for the Aberdeen Football Club, their charity that they run. So it's a charity one. And then on the Sunday, we're at Milnathort Town Hall. And from 2 o'clock to 5, Vi Todd runs these dances. And Davey's coming for a tune as well. And so is Katie the Piper. What's Katie's surname again, Katie? Robertson, yes. Katie Robertson's coming for
Katie the Wheel Piper.
Yeah, so we do that on the Sunday afternoon. The Sunday night, we're playing in the Park Bar in Glasgow from 9:30 to 11:30 if you're about. I'm hoping Kenny McKenzie and some of these guys might make it in that night. That'd be good. And then Monday night, we're going north. We're going to Inverness Accordion and Fiddle Club. And Tuesday night, we're going a bit further north to Wick Accordion and Fiddle Club. And then we're getting the Wednesday night boat back home to Shetland. So if you're about, it'd be lovely to see anybody at any of these gigs. Check it out on my Facebook page. All the info's there. That's fine.
And that's the Andy Kane band.
What's that? No, it is not. He would like it to be the Andy Kane band, but it ain't. It's Peter Wood band. But anyway, talking of Andy Kane, here is him and I having a wee set of tunes. We're down at the Orkney Folk Festival. We jumped in the car and went for a run, and this is us down at the Churchill Barriers in Orkney. And if you look in the background, there's a wreck there. Well, there's a couple of wrecks at the front as well, but at the back. Woohoo! There we go.
That ending was one of Andy's famous ones where he forgets what he's doing.
I know. Do you know something as well? When we set up a big stand with the phone on it to record this, and Andy's not quite as tall as me. In fact, he's wee. But I don't know if you actually noticed, he's actually standing about 6 feet in front of me to make us look the same height.
No.
Poor Andy.
What can we say?
Yeah. It's just one of these things. I don't know, have you met Andy in real life yet?
No.
No.
I spoke to him on video call, but yeah, that will be rather funny. Vi was out for a wee bit late. She struck my glow.
Well, that's really not good enough, just turning up late. No. I hope she doesn't turn up late at her end thing. That's it. Vi, it's all right. We've done an advert already. So There we go. Said where we're going. And then today I was up doing the saxophone sessions from the spaceport up in Instagram. That was good fun. And Jock, the cameraman, brought his dog today. Teddy, it's called. This great Spanish something dog.
Water dog?
Yes, that's it. A Spanish water dog.
They are mental.
Lovely thing. Yeah, but utterly crazy. And it actually, if you happen to get a chance to watch back that broadcast of Brian and I today, the Spanish water dog tries to climb on top of my knee as I'm playing at one point in the broadcast. It's quite interesting. Quite interesting.
Can I just make a one thing before we bring Duncan on? Sorry to cut it short. I'd like to wish Sheila Piper many happy returns.
Absolutely.
I was saying to Peter earlier on, because how old is she? 80.
Never, right? I would never have thought that.
No, and I think it must be our 60th I played at with the Men's Pretty Pipe Band. That was 20 years ago. That's mental. I'm getting old.
Wait till you get to my age, and I'm talking about 45 years ago and things like that. That's when things start to really.
Yeah. Luckily we don't have that problem.
We have got this wonderful young musician backstage, and his granny is a great follower of the show. So, Maureen, I hope you're watching it there, Maureen Ritchie. Maureen's watched everything that we do internet-wise, different shows and everything. Right from the beginning of the lockdowns, I've seen her name.
She's here.
Yes, but is her internet working tonight? Are you all right, Maureen? Are we ready to go? Are you sure? If not, she's going to watch it back.
Exactly. So one of the benefits of the show is you can watch it back at any time. It is on the internet forever. Sadly.
Yeah. Because remember, we're on Facebook. We're also on YouTube. If you want to watch it in the big telly, go to YouTube, look for Tartan Tunes. And we're also on Twitter as well, because we're kind of cool and trendy. So that's what we are. So if the politicians can hack it on Twitter, so can we. But just please keep your comments coming in, and please share, folks. Keep sharing. The more, the merrier. We love it. Share all over the world and a few other places as well.
On that note, let's just bring on the. I'm just going to go to a quick count. 1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth semi-finalist for this year's young trad that we've had on the show.
Some amount of them.
Mr. Duncan Ritchie.
Hey, Duncan.
Hello.
How are we doing?
Doing well. Doing great.
Right, Duncan, didn't make a mess of this because your granny's watching.
Please do not swear.
Yeah. Look, she's there with a comment saying it's all right. Our internet's working tonight, so it's fine.
Good. On you go, Peter.
Duncan, thanks for coming on. Absolutely brilliant to have you on.
Thank you very much.
Speak about a few things, bits and pieces. Obviously, one of the things you're a semi-finalist, as Davey was just saying, for the BBC Young Traditional Musician of the Year 2023.
Aye, yeah.
That's a fair old mouthful, isn't it? That must be a nice honour to get into the competition.
Yeah, it's great. It's been since I've heard about the competition back in 2014. I've been really looking forward to being part of it. It's been a huge aspiration of mine. I remember when I first watched it, it was the likes of Moz and Amini and that kind of time. It was, and I remember thinking, how on earth will I ever get to that? But here I am. I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, fantastic. I'm sure it's going to be an utterly brilliant experience. It's all Lauren McDougall had on today. Everybody that got in, congratulations. He said, and you'll all just love it. He says, you'll have them all.
Yeah. It seems to be a very tough competition to get into as well, because there is so much talent already out there and coming through the conservatoire as well. Is this your first time entering, or before?
It's my first time entering. You're right about there's a lot of conservatoire students in it. I believe that there's maybe at least half of them are RCS students, and at the moment, apart from myself, they're all previous students. I'm the only one who's currently studying there. Mm-hmm. But I'm pretty sure most years I've seen it, a good chunk of the folk competition are RCS.
Davey, I never got asked.
Yeah. There's a key bit in that, Peter. It's called the BBC Young Trad.
Oh, yeah, I suppose. Yeah. But even when I was young, I never got asked.
It started in 2001.
Oh, right, okay. No, we were still black and white at that point in time. It's all right. So it's okay. It's
bruised.
Portable black and white telly with a coat hanger stuck in the aerial socket. Nothing like it. But listen, Duncan, we're going to have a wee set of tunes for you to get us going, and then we'll come back and speak about your career so far and what started and what done all these things. So we're starting off with yourself and what's this one?
Right.
Iona. Help me out here, David, because it's cut off on my screen.
It's yourself and Iona Reid. And the tunes are Princess Beatrice and The Mathematician, which sounds like a really funny joke when you read it out. So Iona and myself, we play a lot together. We actually studied together at the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, and since the start, we've kind of played a lot because the duo of accordion, and she plays piano. It goes really well together, and I've always wanted to keep that going. And we also run a session, a traditional music session, in Glasgow on Barriers Road at a pub called the Curler's Rest every Thursday. And we love playing together. And we actually we've had quite a few gigs this past week. We've had this week has been the start of the Freshers in Glasgow, and we had a Freshers Ceilidh, and there's been a wee principal's reception, it was called, where we just played for all the folk coming out after a wee introduction to RCS. So if you're doing absolutely nothing a week on Sunday, you come to the Park Bar. Are you far away from the Park Bar?
No, I'm not. Just a wee bus ride away.
Oh, magic. It'd be great to see you.
That will be.
Right, let's hit this set of tunes.
Here we go.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. Fantastic.
Cheers.
I like Kim Harris put on there, I love the mathematician. I love the mathematician too, but I can't play it.
Well, actually, it's funny you mentioned you can't play it because up until, well, this video is from the time of when all the lockdown videos were happening. Yeah. Not so much anymore, but the mathematician is usually in D major, and I can't play it because I need a high F sharp. So I had to transpose it down to B flat major to do it. So now I can play it in my box because it's
So you're playing that in D flat?
B flat.
B flat, even so. Wow.
It's actually a lot easier. I can play it on the piano. It's a lot easier in B flat. You'd be surprised.
Right. Okay. Well, that was a great combination there, the two of you. Nice playing Fiona as well, and it's nice to hear the piano playing melody sometimes nowadays as well.
Yeah.
I was about to say my neighbour across the bow, Amy Lawrenson, does that as well, but Amy's actually not across the bow from me anymore because I've moved to another island. But I knew what I meant. So,
yeah, it's a thing that RCS does try to do a lot. It's the kind of the swapping the instrument goes around, because we have let's say we have guitar and fiddle. Usually there'll be a lot of guitar accompanying, followed by fiddle melody. But like what happens a lot is we kind of think about how it could be different, and like give the tune to the guitar every so often, and let the fiddle do the chords, kind of thing. So,
They tell me it was really interesting to know, and thanks very much, folk. There's an amazing amount of people watching this, right, which is fantastic. And please keep sharing. I think Duncan's granny's been sharing it everywhere. That's it.
Yeah, my granny.
Yeah, no, we've got loads of folk watching tonight. It's really, really good. There's folk all over the world, so it's really, really nice. And welcome to you all, and please keep sharing. Duncan, you happened to mention fiddle there, playing melody. You told me before we came on the air there that you played the fiddle a wee bit as well, and accordion and piano. What came first then?
So I was born and spent my first 6 years of my life in Aberdeen, and then moved to Skye. That's where my mum's side of the family lived. Right. And what happened was my older brother, who actually just got married this past weekend, Samuel Nairn. So he learned the fiddle first, and what happened was that, well, obviously I followed and wanted to play fiddle too. So I did that first in Portree, and yeah, played fiddle. Moved to Aberdeen around the belt.
Who taught fiddle up in Portree then?
I don't really remember, if I'm honest.
Everyone.
So moved up to Aberdeen, and then from there, a neighbour across the road taught piano, so I kind of just went over and had a few lessons. And then just before, I think it was 2012, I happened to be, because of the fiddle, I was at kind of it was a school fiddle kind of thing. So I had the council lessons, and part of the council, they had like a wee orchestra thing going in Northfield in Aberdeen. Okay. And they had a few orchestras, and one of my brother's older friend, who's Cameron Nixon, who's also been in the Young Trads, he was good friends with Samuel, and Samuel, he told Samuel that there's this choir that happens at the thing, and so I joined the choir, and while at the choir we performed in the music hall in Aberdeen, and there's this guy playing accordion, and he was playing the tune Belviso. It was Ewan Reid playing it. And
they wrote that tune after you, Davey. It's called Belviso, means pretty face.
And from there, I was just in awe of the whole thing. So And then so that happened, and I totally forgot about it. And then
who was the accordion player? Do you know?
What's that? Sorry.
Who was the accordion player?
Ewan Reid.
All right. Yes. I know.
And yeah, I totally forgot about it. That would have been about October time, and then unbeknown to me, my mum had bought me a really it was a good for what I needed, but it was a really rubbishy accordion that got me going, and I got for Christmas. Yeah. It was one of those. There was no. The tuning was all over the place, but it was really good. So that got me going at the start, and then what happened was I went and decided to. I was on holiday once, and my cousin goes to a music school in Edinburgh, did at the time. She did jazz saxophone at the City of Edinburgh Music School, and I happened to be on holiday and heard about the whole music school idea. So I decided to take classical piano and audition for Aberdeen City Music School. So I did that for a year, and then after a year, I decided that I found it almost impossible to do that for a living. So I decided to swap to accordion. I was doing a second study at the time. So so I swapped to accordion as my main instrument, and I had John Bone.
And it's an awful lot handier to carry about the gigs.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
No, I disagree. How many times do you have to go to a gig and turn up your own piano?
Yeah, it's true. At least it's not pipe organ.
That's very true. Very, very true.
What happened was I had John Bone, who was an absolutely great teacher, and straight away I was put into the deep end. And he said to me, he said to me, you should do the Perth Accordion Championships. So I did it for 3 years, and I got as far as getting to I did the juniors for 2 years and the seniors for 1 year, and I managed to get to the final 6 and got 4th place.
Well done.
Cheers. But the really sad thing was when Duncan Black was playing that year, and they announced him as I can't remember what it was. I think it was second. And when they announced first to third. So when they said Duncan, I was on the edge of my seat, and I thought, I've got it in the bag. And then it didn't come. I got 4th, so I was happy. I was happy where I was.
The Blacks have been that for years. Even when I was trying to compete when I was young, I was always sneaking in that.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. But my plan this year actually, what I said I'm currently at the RCS, and I said to my tutor Ian just before he left, before he retired, I'm gonna do the Young Trads and Perth. But unfortunately, Perth this year is on the very same day as a BBC Young Trad Musician of the Year.
Oh no,
so I can't do both, sadly. But it would be nice if let's say in some world where I won the Young Trad Musician, I would be the first piano accordionist, and it would be winning Perth at the same time. And I'm both a folky player and I play a wee bit of the dance band stuff. So
right, okay, yeah. So, well, talking of that folky, you just said the word there. Folk trio we have coming up now. Who are you playing with in this video?
Yeah, so I've got so this is a wee one of the classes in RCS. We have a class called Folk Ensemble, and this was back in I think it was my 3rd year, and we had 3 of us. Well, in the time of maybe it was my 2nd year. Anyway, it was time of COVID, so everything was online. We had our classes online, but unfortunately, I lived with 2 other guys who were on the course. One of them was Rory Buxton. He is a piper, flautist, and whistle player, and Gaelic singer. And then there's the other person is Finlay Cameron, who's a piper, flautist, and whistle player. So it made sense just to go together, and we put together a few tunes just because it was easy. We lived together, playing tunes a lot of the time. I remember when I don't live there anymore with them. I moved quite recently, but when I was with them, all the time would be tunes in the kitchen, just like playing whistle and flute in the kitchen box, and there's a piano in there, so it was good times. But
you got a piano in the kitchen?
The kitchen was part of the living room. Kitchen was a part of the living room, so they'd be in the kitchen, I'd be in the piano over there. So
I wonder what my wife would think of that if I put a piano in the kitchen. That might go fine. Anyway, what are we having? What's the tunes here?
Yeah, so the tunes are I can't remember the name of the first tune because I haven't labeled my video properly.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's tonight's competition for you. Can you name the first tune?
Aye, the second tune is called the Malbay Shuffle, followed by the Three Little Steps, and I think the last tune is by Michael McGoldrick from Ireland. I think he is from. So yeah.
No, Michael McGoldrick's from Manchester.
Manchester. Oh, sorry, no, it's not Michael McGoldrick. Then it's Brian Finnegan. The tune is.
Oh, Brian Finnegan. Yeah.
Easily mixed up. So.
Magic.
Here we go.
Enjoy, people. Enjoy and keep sharing. Enjoy. Very nice. Nice stuff. Yeah, a lovely blend there, sounding really nice. The accordion you're playing, what kind of wood is that one made out of then, Duncan?
Olive wood, I think.
Olive wood.
It's a Bigari olive, I think. So.
Yeah, excellent. Sounds lovely.
Thank you.
Really nice. You said about classical piano.
That's it. That's the one.
What's that? About a bagpipe? Olive bagpipe?
That's olive wood. I have the only set of bagpipes with olive wood mounts.
Oh.
Olive wood and blackwood.
Yep.
Wow. There you go.
Very
fantastic. You said earlier about the classical side that you've done classical piano and that. Do you think that's been advantageous with your playing in general, using the classical techniques, etc.?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, from a piano and accordion point of view, it's been definitely extremely helpful. So the point it got helpful was when I first started accordion. I had piano lessons, and my musicality really started to spring from this one particular tune that I learned on the piano. I had lessons with this lady called Barbara Payne, and it's not the kind of bad pain, it's a glass of pain, and pain glass. And so this tune I played was Mendelssohn's Songs Without Words, I think it was, in A major, and it was it's one of my favorites, and I still play it. And it was basically this really slow tune, slow piece of music, and it really brought out my musical side of things. And I must have spent at least a year on it, and everything was drilled into me. And yeah, from there, it really helped my accordion playing, because I remember playing from the very start, hearing Phil Cunningham and all his slow airs and Sarah songs and all like that, and I wasn't able to get the sound out that I really wanted to. But soon after I'd learned this tune, my musicality from particularly playing slow airs was much more because of this one tune. I was
that's fantastic. I don't think we've had ended in the show that said that one piece of music actually changed the way they played, etc. That's fantastic. Mendelssohn's got a lot to answer for here.
Aye.
What would you say the piece of music that changed your playing technique was, Peter?
Who changed my one?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
No,
it's a while ago. But I've never played any Mendelssohn, so put it that way. So you're well in front of me there. So when you went to the Aberdeen Music, is it the Music College? Is that what they call it?
Aberdeen City Music School.
City Music School. John Bone was there, and we all know John's a fantastic player. Actually, he really is a stunning player and a good tutor. He's just a number of good players.
Fantastic. He's I'd say definitely one of the reasons why, if I have to toot my own trumpet, that I've come on so much, it's thanks to him that I've come on leaps and bounds. He's just an amazing teacher. It can be quite intense an experience because he's got a detail, and we'll be doing this kind of thing in lessons where we'll be playing a certain tune on like the kind of competition tunes, and he'll be playing a phrase to me, and I'll be playing it back to him, and we'll do that for a good 5-10 minutes, and it'll just be one bar, and you really have to listen, and it's great idea for detail.
So was that mostly traditional then that he taught you?
Yeah, so it was just a kind of classic Scottish dance bandy stuff. So mostly, I would say about 50-60% of my tuition of him was just competition stuff. So
because I might be wrong, but I think a previous guest we were on, Craig Payton, was Craig not taught by John as well?
He was. He went to the music school as well a wee bit before me. I think he graduated in 2011 and I graduated in 2018 or something like that. And Craig's an amazing player. He's one of a kind. He's an advocate for really making dance band music very not like he's not making it folky, but he's making it folky, but like he's not playing in a folk way. He's making dance band folky. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah. And of course, you mentioned earlier on we were speaking, and you mentioned Tom Orr, and Tom's a great player as well.
Aye. The
same kind of thing. It's really strange, actually. Tom's mum was the head teacher in the school that my mum was in. My mum was the secretary down in South Lanarkshire. And so got another wee connection. So I've known Tom all his days. So.
Aye.
I've recorded a couple of albums when he was playing piano with Sandy Leggett's band. I think.
Tom's amazing. So yeah, the other kind of half stuff that we'd have with John would be we'd have the competition stuff, and then we would have the European kind of polkas and weird tunes that were made for accordion, and there was some classical stuff for sure, but it was mostly kind of, and French musettes as well. I love them; they're my favorite. But mostly it's more traditional stuff for sure.
Yeah, this next track we're going to hear, or video we're going to watch, is yourself and Finlay Cameron. Am I right, Finlay?
Yes. So yeah, same guy as the last video. He in my
playing bagpipes this time. So
I'm on the piano and he's on the pipes. And this was right after summer. Luckily, RCS were able to accommodate recording spaces in the main hall, and we were able to record music together. And we lived together before Rory Buxton went with us, and we spent so much rehearsing for this, and it was a great experience to be able to play with pipes.
Well, I mean, there's some super playing here, but one of the things I think that really stands out as well is your piano playing. You can see your classical training, that you're sitting there and it's like no problem to you at all. You're just sitting there in the stuff.
It was great because every experience I've had, I would say I play piano 20% of the time, but I would say that a lot of it is just, there's no, like, I've not come to the point yet where I'm just playing out, like, I'm really organising and a lot of rehearsing is what it sounds like down to a T. And the hardest thing I've had with this one was actually playing in B flat. I've not been able to get to the point where I'm playing accordion in B flat. I've not really had any reason to so far. I haven't played pipes in B flat, but the hardest challenge of this piano was I was playing in B flat because the pipes were B flat and they sounded very nice. And it was a wee grand piano in the hall, so it sounded amazing.
Yeah.
The sound.
I like that, a wee grand piano. Like surely a tune name there, the wee grand piano.
A wee grand piano. Oh yeah. Well,
very good. Let's have a listen to this. This is super for all you pipers out there. You'll enjoy this. Yeah, that's great playing. Lovely. Very, very nice. Duncan's covering all the bases here tonight, Davey.
Yes, that. Yes,
Piping,
The Angus Lion getting the piano and the accordion going at the same time.
Yeah, and it works really well. It's really brilliant. It's good. So when you went to uni, you've been studying quite hard. Do you get much chance to play out with when you're studying at uni? Can you do bits and pieces, or
like playing in public?
Yeah.
Well, yes, usually. So I'm currently in my 4th year, and the pandemic striked when we had my 1st year. It was about the 2nd term in out of 3, and up until then we had, like, I would say a lot. Yeah, it was quite a good amount of time to perform in public. But 2nd and 3rd year, not so much. We've had some stuff online for sure, but now it's 4th year. I've only just started 4th year, but I would say I've had quite a bit of opportunity. But I think there's plenty for me because I'm doing gigs a lot more now, so I'm happy, really.
Yeah, that's good. Are you mostly in about the Glasgow area, or do you travel? Do you go all over?
I have had not really much reason to travel yet, but soon I'll be traveling up to Findhorn to play with my mate from school, Andrew Legg, who's from Elgin area, and I think that's the only thing I've got. But I haven't really been. When I lived in Aberdeen, I had a few gigs there, here and there, out in the Shire. But yeah, just wherever I live, usually it's gigs going there.
I mean, as Davies, you've said this a few times, Davy. Of course, Glasgow, it's a kind of cultural melting pot of music, isn't it? There's an awful lot going on because of that course, and there's musicians all over the place.
For sure, yeah. There's a lot of there's particularly a lot of Irish music, which is great. It was really hard to get used to at first because being from the northeast of Scotland, it's a lot of fiddle, old style music, particularly Scott Skinner stuff, and playing the competition music. Going from that to hearing, I mean, it's not a natural thing to suddenly be thrown into the Irish scene. And so it was hard to get used to. But I would say I really love Irish music now. It's got, especially with the accordion I have at the moment, the tuning, kind of half swung. It's like 8 cents, so it grows amazing with the kind of thing. And I've got a few embellishments of that kind of mimic the Irish button box thing, which sounds beautiful with the particular repertoire of the Irish music.
Yeah, it's funny, as you say, if you turned up at a pub session and played King Robert the Bruce by possibly not that many people would join in.
Yeah, it's not a lot of folk nobles tunes. Some of them do, but they don't want to admit it because they don't want to be categorized into a certain scene, I guess. But I'm okay. I've been advocating for playing Scott Skinner music, but in a folky way. So in one last term, I had I think at least once a year I've had one set that is mostly Scott Skinner tunes, but I've been playing them in a folky sense. So I really want to do that in my career. Well, later on in life, and show that it's not all just So,
the other option as well is if you want to modernise, there's a certain Scottish Skinner tune, or maybe I won't say the name at the moment because you'll get it, who also shares the name with a Black Sabbath song, and the chords work well together. If you have a listen to that one.
Which tune is it?
Iron Man.
Iron Man. Okay, I'll have to try that one out.
It works quite well. Yeah. Some of course, but it works quite well.
How do you find these things out?
Because other folk have done it already and showed me the recording, and
actually, there's the Tom Moore band does something similar. They have the Laird of Drumblare with the Bohemian Rhapsody in the background. That's classic. That's so good. When I first heard that, my life was the whole world opened up to me then.
We used to do a version of Sleepy Maggie, and it was The Chain by Fleetwood Mac as the kind of the bass line through it.
Yes.
That's something else.
The things you do.
You've done a few recordings already, haven't you? You've done some bits and pieces, but you made a single in lockdown as well yourself, didn't you?
Yeah. So at the start of my second year, we were kind of opened up to the whole thing of doing music online. And I hadn't really done self-recording much, but it got to the point where I just one night I got a bit bored, and I thought, I'll just I'll record this tune, and I just started off the basic tune and added this part and the other part and came up with ideas. And they're not. It's just on SoundCloud. It's nothing fancy. I haven't released anything on Spotify as of yet, but in the future I will. But it's just been some experimenting to get production, to learn how to do production techniques on music things.
So before we hear this next track, it's a Swedish set you're going to play. When you go, help me out here. Tell me, when you go, is there 2 accordion tutors at the
yeah? So okay, so there was 3, but now there's 2. So last year, Ian Muir just retired.
Yeah.
He was a great tutor, and I had so much fun with him and learned so much, and he allowed all the space for you to grow. He didn't really point you in any particular direction. He was happy to do what you wanted to do, and he was able to point out all the things. He's able to be a second ear, to fresh pair of ears every week to let you kind of guide you. And then now I've got John Somerville. He's now I don't know what's happened yet, but as of now he is currently the tutor. I don't know if it's permanent or so that's the traditional side. But what often happens, especially with the piano accordions, is that every week you get an hour and a half of tuition, and you split it up in 45-minute sections. And basically, I get a guy from, I think it's either Serbia or Russia, and he's called Georgi Gage, and he's a classical accordionist, and he's something else. He's amazing.
He's incredible.
And I play a lot of I say classical. I don't really get like Mozart and Beethoven and all that kind of stuff, but I get a lot of music that's classically influenced. For example, I have a lot of music that is, there's a lot of music that is it's theme and variations on a Russian or Ukrainian melody. So it'll be like the theme, which is like in a Russian way very sad and like deeply like tragic sounding, and then what will happen is the second part, it will have the faster section, and then there'll be 4 or 5 variations that end up being technically mental. But it's so fun, and it's one of my favorites. So
fantastic. Yeah, I think you're doing well there, covering all the bases. That's a really good, to be into every genre is good. And for the likes of yourself that wants to be a full-time musician, if you can play piano and you can play accordion, but you can double up and do different things, it's a great way to go.
And one more thing on that, when I left music school, I think what John Bone said to me, right, Duncan, this is probably the most technique you're going to have in your life. But then I was glad to say that he was wrong, because I went to Georgie and I just touched the surface, and suddenly I've got all these scales going and ridiculous speeds and broken chords and arpeggios and chromatic.
I had a piano teacher when I was doing my degree, Deirdre Hayward, and she told me this something similar. She actually went to study. I can't remember where it was now, if it was Romania or Bulgaria or something, to be a classical soloist, piano player, pianist. Yeah. And when she got there, the tutor basically took her back to scales, right back. She was grade 8, etc., and he took her right back to how your hand was sitting on the keyboard. And she said she had no idea how much she hadn't learned. It was just incredible.
Yeah. I don't tell Georgie, but like the scales are the best thing in the world. I think in my second year, second or third year, every day religiously, I was practicing scales for half an hour, which sounds like not much, but it's a lot every day if you do it.
But
my playing
pays back when you go to play the mathematician and B flat.
That's probably the only reason why I can play it. But I think it's probably the most comfortable I felt on the accordion in my life, and it feels so in control. So scales are my favorite. So
well done. So this we're going for. So I said Swedish, it's maybe Scandinavian. We're not exactly sure, are we? No. If there's any Danes or Norwegians or Finns or anybody out there, please don't shout at us. We'll just say Scandinavian and cover it in a minute. Tell us what the name of this is.
Yeah, so the first tune is called Vassen Valsen. So it's by Vassen as a mouthful. So in English, it's called The Waltz of Vassen, and Vassen is a band from somewhere in Scandinavia, and it's a tune that we found from the band Vassen, and we did a wee arrangement of it with a musician, Sandra Castro, and so we did that for an RCS concert. And then the second tune is also by Sandra, and it's called 9 a.m. with James. And it's about this class that we get in RCS that's very early, as you can see, 9 a.m. So it's a class where we kind of compose music. And it's 9 a.m. with James, who's the teacher.
See, Davey, I wouldn't be composing at 9 a.m. I'd be sleeping.
Oh, the worst feeling I had when that class was there's a few whistle players. And as you know, like if you're tired in the morning, you can't be bored doing anything. So instead of getting the big low whistle out, what they do is they get the big high goldie penny whistle out. And it was okay, but it's a piercing noise, especially first thing in the morning. After
the best one is do that with an E flat.
Oh,
E flat high whistle.
Oh.
It could be worse. It could be a bombard player.
Yeah.
Or a vuvuzela.
But there was a bombard player came into the lounge in Lerwick one night when we were having a session, and he lasted about 30 seconds where he was asked politely to leave.
Oh, well, maybe I had something similar happen this last week in my session. Some guy, I think a few people know him, but he plays the sitar, the Indian big long instrument. And he said, I know this tune, the high drive. I think, can I come next week and play it? And I thought, yeah, why not? I mean, he's a nice guy and he's nice. So, but I'm really hoping it goes well because it's an interesting combination.
Well,
I want to see a recording of that next week.
I'll get that.
Might be a record breaker. This is maybe a new.
Yeah, you never know.
So, Vassen.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Fantastic.
Right.
Great play. Wonderful technique. Interesting there, of course, bellow shakes, for instance. That's coming for the classical side, isn't it? Because in a Scottish dance band, you don't really see anybody doing a bellow shake.
No, definitely not. It's yeah, it was one of these things that when I first started out, I used it far too much, and then I decided to never use it again. And I think that's probably the first time in that set that I've used it. And it's about choosing when you use it, because when you have a tool, you don't use it too much. So, but I've definitely learned a lot about the bellow shape, because I mean, I thought it was just in out do, but then I've got Geordie teaching me that you get it, the triplets. I mean, you can get like the triplets where you go and then quadruplets. No, sorry, the semi-quavers kind of thing.
It takes an incredible bit of technique, though. But but it is very interesting, isn't it, that side's coming through as well, and you can use that side. To me, it makes the accordion more of even a bigger all-round instrument, if you can. I mean,
yeah, it's got the chords, the melody, and the rhythm. It's a one-man band, I guess.
Yeah,
cliche,
and easier to carry than a harp when you fly.
Oh, definitely, yeah. There's some people walking up Hope Street in Glasgow with their harp. One person in our class, she's like quite a wee girl, and woman, but like she's like absolutely sweating when she gets up to the top. And I'm glad I don't have to carry that. She got on one of these big trolleys as well. But I mean, the accordion's bad enough, especially when you have to take it on the bus and you're busy hitting off the posts in the bus. But it's all right.
Great. So, what have you got planned then? What's things in the future are you on?
Well,
fourth year, obviously. Fourth year.
Well, I guess it isn't official yet, but I'm thinking I've just applied today, but I'm thinking of doing a master's in RCS, so 2 more years after this year.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Just to continue the master's.
I got halfway through a master's and I got a certificate through the post for it the other day. I didn't realise you got a certificate for half a master's.
It's probably to stir you on to go, come on, let's get this finished. Cause
yeah, probably. I
kind
of stopped because I had the kids and everything. I was getting really in working full time because I did my degree when I was working full time as well.
What's the master's for?
The master's is in music and the environment.
Oh, right.
It's quite an interesting concept, but.
Yes.
That was UHI. But,
Oh, yeah, of course. It's a really good course. The masters I'm doing is I've heard that from the head of the course that it's great because I mean the BMUS course really allows you to discover yourself as a musician, but with the master's course it's almost like exclusively just yourself performing and getting better at music. A lot less written work, so it's better.
I found it quite difficult to begin with because when I done my BA, you were kind of guided right through everything and basically told. And when you got to the masters, you were basically said, "Right, get on with it." You know, it's kind of like, "What? You're not going to give me a question? No, you're going to make the question up yourself."
I'm quite an independent person and productive like that, so that's my dream, really. So
you end up finding references and working backwards. That's a good one. Let's work backwards. So,
I mean, apart from the masters, I do have plans in the future. I've got a few aspirations that I want to do. So I've got I'm really into writing for big band music. So you know how you get the Celtic Connections opening concerts, how they're usually these big brass bands with all the different like an orchestra. I'm really into writing music for that, big like 36 instrument scores. That's my really I love to do that. So I did that last year at one of the classes I had, which and then also I'm wanting to do something. It's no way easier to describe it except for it's something similar to what Hamish Napier's done. It's so when I grew up, my most fondest memory were I'm still growing up, I guess, but my fondest memories were in Portree when I grew up in my grandpa's croft, at Granny and Grandpa's, and everything about Portree is still stuck with me. I went there recently and I was busy pointing out to my girlfriend all the different things that happened, and she's sitting there thinking, "Slow down," but my mouth is running. And so yeah, I'm gonna write an album and write tunes for all these different places. Like there's the Summerled Square, or I'm gonna write a tune for that. There's a Stormy Hill. There's a hill near my grandpa's place called Hangman's Hill. There's a place called Beale, and all these kind of things. So I'm gonna write a music album based on that.
Fantastic. Yeah, great. I like doing that as well. Sometimes finding a subject and then going for it. With it.
Aye. I mean, yeah, apart from that, just all the usual music stuff, just like writing music. I like, especially like composing music. So, and then obviously session work, teaching, playing the stage, just anything.
And hopefully doing very well in the BBC Young Musician, Trad Musician of the Year, because it would be wonderful if a piano box player won it.
For once.
We'll put some pressure on the judges.
Oh, don't worry. No.
Come on, guys. Come on, piano, accordion.
If I don't win, I'll do what happened in the X Factor of One Direction, and I'll be the underdog that gets famous in the end or something.
It can easily happen.
The awkward bit is when Peter gets a phone call next week to be adjudicator on it.
The amazing thing about the Young Trad Musician of the Year is that, well, I didn't know about this at the time, but I've got a cousin called Peter McPherson who's also doing it. I didn't know about this until my granny had told me, my other granny, not Granny Bewley from Maureen, but she told me that my other cousin Peter was doing it. So it's quite amazing, really, that we've got family members doing it, and he sings the Gaelic music, and he's just fantastic. He's got the kind of so it should be a bit of family competition. Should keep me practicing more.
Well, I noticed Granny Maureen put on a comment saying that you'd done all right, so I think you're fine tonight. Look,
I'll pass the test.
She says you're a very interesting programme. You're okay. You're going to get a Christmas present this year.
Aye.
Right. That's good. So, listen, Duncan, thanks so much for coming on.
Sorry.
It's been utterly great. That's an hour and a quarter we've been rattling away here. And I hope you folks at home have really enjoyed it, because I certainly have. And I hope to catch up with you very soon if you're about.
See you at the park bar, yeah.
And that would be bra. And all the best to you. And thank you. What did you say? Sorry, your girlfriend's name was?
Sandra. She was playing the video.
Sorry, I froze a wee bit there. Sorry. Sandra, yes.
Hi.
Thanks,
Sandra.
Thanks, Sandra, for letting us steal you for an hour and a half on a Sunday night when you were supposed to be rubbing her feet or something.
We had to run back from Asda to get here in time.
Asda? What's Asda?
It's Peter, you'll drive past a few of them coming down the road, you're fine.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to getting down south again to see joined up shops.
Aye.
Joined up houses.
Yeah, quite amazing. Listen, Duncan, we wish you all the very, very best in the competition, and we look forward to hearing you in the future. I'm sure you've got a fantastic musical career in front of yourself.
Thank you.
So enjoy whatever way it goes.
Thank you very much.
We're going to finish off with your third year performance title, and it's all we've got here is own composition. So quickly tell us a bit about that.
Aye, so basically I'm really interested in composition, as I mentioned, and I really want to write music for solo accordion and eventually maybe like write it out on music score. I know a lot of music in the folky world is done by ear, but I grew up in the kind of dance band circuit in that way of teaching, so I'm much better at reading music than I am with my ear. So so with these tunes are ones I wrote when I came back from Spain. My girlfriend's Spanish, and I came back from Spain after meeting her parents for the first time, and it was snowing in February, and it was one of these phenomenons where it was just like completely random. So this tune is called Early Morning Snow, I think, and then the second tune is called Churros. And if you don't know what churros are, they're a Spanish food, and they're amazing, and they're like kind of these wee long things that are like pastries, and you dip them in chocolate. And they make for a great merienda. So,
you know, the first place I ever tasted one was in Stornoway.
Stornoway, oh my goodness!
That doesn't really make sense, does it? It should have been black, but it wasn't. It was a churro.
The Stornoway churro.
Stornoway churro.
Duncan, again, thank you much for joining us, and good luck in the Young Trad. No doubt you'll smash it and get into the finals. But we'll see you again, and Peter will see you in the park bar in a week or so.
Hi, many thanks. Cheers.
All the best.
Thanks.
Here we go.
Thank you. Oh, that is a fantastic technique. I mean, his accordion's just part of him. It's fantastic. Very well done. Really smashing. I can't see it to the right. It's too peary. What does it say? Well done, Duncan.
Well done, Duncan from Granny.
Aye, Granny. Should be proud, Granny. There you go. Absolutely. Aye. Thank you very much, folks, for joining us tonight. That has been wonderful. Now, next week, folks, I think the next 2 weeks. Do you think so? Aye. The next 2 weeks, folks, unfortunately, I'm sad to say there is no Tartan Tunes. I am going away on holiday, managing to get off the rock that is Shetland and going to see my mum and sister, who I haven't seen for about a year and a half. So, unfortunately, I'm not about to do the show the next 2 weeks, but we will be back the week after that.
We will?
Yeah. What date are we back then?
2 seconds, I'll tell you.
I don't want to touch this. I don't want to touch anything that'll cut us off.
Nope. The 23rd.
23rd. And
23rd
have we someone
of October.
after that?
We do. We have a harpist on.
Fantastic. I love when harpists are on.
Can you remember her name?
No.
No.
I can't remember what's happening tomorrow. No chance.
We've got Sanita Stanslow.
Oh, yes, Sanita. Yes.
Yes, I think you met her.
Yeah.
Up on Unst.
Yes, Anita stays up in Unst now. She's American, and she is an amazing harpist. Absolutely fantastic. So it'll be great having her on the show. I'm sure you'll really, really enjoy it. So it's good. So anything else, Davey?
No, I think everyone's saying we deserve a break. Ken, I'll see you in the park bar.
Magic, Kenny. Bring the Moothy.
Ken Peters is a large pint of blackcurrant, or orange. Orange
and water. Yeah.
Orange and water.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we will try and do some video from the Milner Thorpe gig because, as mentioned, I am there as well, and we'll kind of share it with yourselves either over the kind of the following weeks, or we might actually do a live one on the afternoon of.
Yeah, we could do a couple of live shows, something like that.
Depends what the internet signal's like in Milner Thorpe, because it's the middle of nowhere. It's the middle of Fife. You know what I mean?
I can't really say that when I stay in Yale.
Well, as folk have probably noticed, Peter has a very good connection tonight with the better kind of image of him. But what he told me at the start was this is his phone signal.
Yeah.
His phone signal is better than his internet signal.
Yeah.
That's when you know it's bad.
That's something else, isn't it?
Yeah. But other than that,
But anyway,
I start a new job Wednesday.
You got something happening on Wednesday?
Yeah, start a new job on Wednesday, so that's going to be good.
Fantastic, David. Go and tell the folk where you're going to be working.
I'm going to be working at Strathallan School in Forgandenny, near Perth.
That's brilliant. Yeah. There are other schools available.
Are there?
But Strathallan will be the good one now that you're there.
I'll be working in IT, it's fine. But no, sure.
Well, listen, all the best for that. All the best for it. And enjoy the new job. That'll be great. All right.
And if I don't see you beforehand, I'll see you next Saturday.
Yep. See you then. It's a date. Cheers.
Hi, Kava.
See you later.